Feel the heart. Experience the soul. Community Pulse.
A very warm welcome to Radio 786 on 100.4 FM, also 1584 medium wave in Pretoria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name's Zainab Bean. Delighted to be in your company once again on this Thursday morning. And of course, today is the 24th day of May 2018. It also corresponds with the 8th day of Ramadan 1438. Now, coming up in the program this morning, it's Thursday. Dr. Faiez Kirsten joins me live in studio, and this morning quite an interesting talk we have lined up for you. We're talking about the link between the Israa and Mi'raj with today's world, inshallah, and that we will be discussing further this morning. You can be part of the conversation either 0786 10 11 12 or 0216991786, inshallah. That's the first hour. Also stay tuned and find out in the latest update with the South African National Zakah Fund at about 10:15, and then of course Cuisine, Spices, Kitchen Adventures just thereafter. But in between, you can send your special messages. Also WhatsApp us or give us a call 021-699-1786. The final hour, the Mzansi Ethical Research Centre's Dr. Tayyib will be joining me, as well as Dr. Fatima Mohammed, and they talking osteoarthritis this morning, inshallah. All that and more on Radio 786 and 100.4 FM, also 1584 medium wave in Pretoria. With the time at 14 minutes just past 9 o'clock, let's welcome our very first guest, Dr. Faiez Kirsten. Assalamu alaikum. Shukran so much for being here.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Zainab, afwan for having me again. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. I know that you're enjoying the rain. I'm enjoying the rain too.
Yes, I am.
and I think it's surprising it's not cold.
No,
it's not cold.
It's just it's pleasant actually.
Absolutely. Now, the topic is quite interesting, Dr. Faiez, and I'd like to get to the link this morning, the link between the Israa and Mi'raj with today's world. Where do we start?
Yes, I think first we must ask ourselves the question, do we actually really believe that it actually took place? You know, that's one of the greatest miracles ever. It somehow strikes me that a lot of people are embarrassed about it, first of all, because it's miraculous. It almost sounds like a fantasy. So how could it actually have happened? So we need to ask ourselves, do we really believe it at a subconscious level? We say we do. But do we really believe it? And we'll actually get into that as we pursue this discussion this morning. So I was watching a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you know Mahdi Hassan.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He was interviewing Richard Dawkins, and Richard Dawkins asked him, do you really believe, that your prophet flew into heaven on a winged horse?
Yes.
Now, first of all, Burak didn't have wings. So there again, we got a problem of disinformation overload syndrome. And many people, when it comes to Islam, they suffer from disinformation overload syndrome and information deficiency syndrome. So they're suffering from these two really serious conditions. They are carrying a lot of misinformation about the religion, and Muslims themselves, unfortunately, also. And that is why we've actually joined the Gog and Magog New World Order today, because we don't really understand what actually happened on the Mi'raj. And that's what we really need to interrogate today.
Unpack, inshallah. Well, you can be part of the conversation, 0786 10 11 12 or 021 699 1786. My guest in studio, Dr. Faiez Kirsten, joining me to further unpack the link between Mi'raj and Al-Isra. Now, I think that I would like to believe that most of us do in fact believe that it did happen. I do understand that there are a large majority that has maybe a different view because of the nature of the event.
Yeah, people are embarrassed because it sounds
fairy tale,
like a fairy tale, but in fact science is proving today that is actually absolutely possible. What the Prophet ﷺ went through, that journey. In fact, when I think about it and I read about it and I follow the steps of how it actually happened, it actually gives me goosebumps. It's one of the most amazing journeys. I mean, nobody will actually undertake such a journey because the Prophet ﷺ was actually privileged. Okay, it was a gift from Allah, and no other human being has undertaken that journey, or know if ever they will undertake such a journey. But the thing is, it gives me goosebumps when you look at the sequence, how it actually happens, the Burak and so forth. And look at science, the science of it. Look at black holes, astrophysics, stars and so forth, quantum physics, the theory of relativity, time dilation and so forth. All of these things actually can explain the Isra and the Mi'raj. And we can get into the science, but I think more important, we must understand what it was all about and the world we're living in today. Because if you don't understand that, then the world today won't make sense, and you'll actually become entrapped in the Dajjalic, the Gog and Magog New World Order, which in fact most people actually are. And remember that one hadith, which is a hadith Qudsi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke directly to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it's not in the Quran, so it's a hadith where he said on the Day of Judgment, he said he'll tell Nabi Adam alayhi salam to take out or collect those people for the hellfire, and Nabi Adam alayhi salam will ask him, who must I get for the hellfire, and he'd say 999 out of 1,000. Take 999 out of 1,000 for the hellfire. I think that should be the most important thing we should be concerned about in our lives today, because we come from a golden age. As on the radio, the theme now in the month of Ramadan is the golden age of Islam. But we should really be looking to a golden future. Basically, in my view, is actually Jannatul Firdaus. That should be our priority today. But obviously it's not. And so I want to basically just take you through a little story, a little analogy, if you don't mind, Zainab. So say you're traveling along a road. Now this is a special kind of road, okay? You can only go forward. You can't go backwards because the road disappears, okay? When you look back, there's no road. So you have to move forward, and the road compels you to move forward, okay? So you don't have a choice. You have to keep moving forward. Now, as you're moving forward, you don't actually know where you're going, though. You're just walking along this road, okay? And then you meet somebody standing on the side of the road, and the person says to you, look here, hold on. This road leads to a cliff, okay? It just ends abruptly at a cliff, and at the bottom of that cliff is a blazing fire. But there's a detour. Shortly up ahead, there's a detour. If you take that detour, you'll actually end up at a resort where you can de-stress, relax, take it easy. The only bad news is that along this detour, there's a lot of soldiers, okay? And these soldiers are going to force you back on the road to the cliff, okay? What would you do, Zainab, if you were on this road?
I'll try to avoid the soldiers. I don't know how, but I would.
Would you continue along the road to the cliff, or would you take your chances along the detour?
I'll continue my road.
You'll continue on the road to the blazing fire,
because the soldiers will get me in anyway.
Well, that's the dilemma. It's not really a dilemma. It's a dilemma if you don't actually know what you should really be doing and how to deal with the soldiers. If you don't really know how to deal with the soldiers, you will say, I think I'll stick on the road and go to the edge of the cliff and fall over, and that's the end of me. Now, that's where we find ourselves today. We are actually on the road towards, I speak to myself first, okay? I'm not pontificating or being judgmental. I'm actually talking to myself first, yeah. We all on this road towards the edge of the cliff. This road is compelling us to move forward. Time doesn't wait for anybody. You can't turn back time and go backwards in time, okay? You have to move forward. And it's taking us to the edge of the cliff simply because most people are committing shirk, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He'll not forgive. The only sin He won't forgive actually is shirk, which is blasphemy, taking partners with Allah. In other words, obeying laws and people and whatever above those of Allah, above divine law, okay? So this is the dilemma we face. Do we learn how to deal with the soldiers, which is the Gog and Magog New World Order and Dajjal, or do we just keep walking towards the edge of the cliff? Okay, so if you understand the Mi'raj, and you'll say, no, I'm going to deal with these soldiers, and we have to acquire skills how to actually deal, and knowledge and information on how to actually deal with the problems that lie ahead of us on the detour, if we are on the road towards the cliff. I don't know where everybody is. I'm talking about myself first, okay? I obviously have no idea what other people's consciousness levels are like. So I speak to myself first. But, it doesn't look good if we continue along this road towards the edge of the cliff.
Now, when we speak about the Israa and Miraj, it refers to obviously two parts of a miraculous journey that was undertaken by the Prophet Muhammad during the night time. That's why Israa is called the night journey. And one of the WhatsApp messages, in fact, the first one that came through, is asking the question, did it really happen? Did this really happen? And I think when people are still asking this question, then we need to unpack it.
Yes, absolutely. So is that a WhatsApp message that came in? Did it really happen?
Yes.
Like I said, a lot of people don't actually believe it happened, and they feel embarrassed to actually be Muslim because this sounds like a fairy tale. But the facts are the facts. It actually did happen, and it was a physical event. It wasn't something that the Prophet ﷺ dreamt about. Because what's a dream? Anybody can dream, okay, and wake up the next day and say, I had this dream. It's not a miracle. Okay, this was a miraculous journey where the Prophet ﷺ went in physical body, mind, soul, spirit up into the heavens. But first from the Masjid al-Haram in Makkah to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. That was the first part of it, and that's the Isra, al-Isra, okay, the night journey. And he traveled on the Buraq from that point in Makkah, Masjid al-Haram, to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem on Buraq, okay? Buraq means light, okay? I think the root is light. And this animal, which is larger than a donkey but smaller than a mule, actually traveled probably faster than the speed of light. In fact, the whole journey took no time, it really didn't take time, because when we got back, his blood was still warm, okay? So, and that is possible. Traveling forward in time, it can happen instantaneously if you understand the physics, of what's going on. So that was the first part, and then the Miraj was the ascent up into the seven heavens, okay, from Masjid al-Aqsa, okay? Yes. So to answer that question, yes, it did actually happen physically.
I also think that if one goes to the Quran and you read the 17th chapter, which is Surah Al-Isra, from the first verse that reads, "Holy is he who carried his servant by night from the holy mosque in Makkah to the farther mosque in Jerusalem, whose surroundings we have blessed that we might show him some of our signs. Indeed, he alone is all hearing, all seeing."
Well, that's what the purpose was, to show the Prophet ﷺ of the greatest of Allah's signs, some of his signs, some of his greatest signs. And what he saw on this journey was unbelievable, actually. And he met the different prophets as he was ascending through the seven samawat, He met, and we can go through the sequence, which is not really important right now. But he met Nabi Adam, he met Nabi Isa and Nabi Yahya, which is his cousin. And Nabi Yusuf, Idris, Harun, Nabi Musa, I think in the sixth sama, and the last, the seventh heaven, which is he met Nabi Ibrahim. Okay. Now there's a difference between a heaven and between a samawat and Jannah. Okay, Jannah is heaven. Okay, and it has various levels also, and the highest level is Jannatul Firdaus. Okay, where we all should be trying to get to, but the heavens that Allah created, the samawat, seven sama, they basically are seven heavens, the seven parallel universes, which the Prophet ﷺ actually traveled through to reach the highest point, which was the Sidratul Muntaha, which is the low tree. Okay, the tree at the very end. I think the word Muntaha means at the very end. Okay. And then he traveled above that, but it was Jibreel alayhi salam was actually escorting him all the way up, okay? Until that point. And then from there he went beyond that by himself to have an audience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. Imagine that. That leaves me with goosebumps, actually, quite honestly. But he didn't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because nobody can actually see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He actually saw Allah's veil, which is a veil of light. Okay. So all the facts point to it, that it actually happened. It wasn't a dream, and physics bears it out today. It can be scientifically proven that people can move forward in time and can go into parallel universes. Okay? Yeah.
Now, I think the details of the event is provided by the hadith that supplement the Quranic account. I think there's no reason, however, to reject all the supplementary information on the grounds, because I think some people are sometimes likely to accuse people of being disbelievers if they
If they don't believe
if they
it.
don't believe.
Well, you are a disbeliever.
Yeah.
You just don't believe it,
Yeah, but because a lot of people would want to know what was the nature of the journey. Was the Prophet actually asleep or was he awake? Those questions, I think, are common when it comes to this particular event, and whether or not, as we mentioned, whether or not it is a journey in the physical sense or not. And I think those are basically the reasons why people may have different views whether or not it happened or not.
Yeah, well, look, you've got to, knowledge is also not just externally acquired. Knowledge is actually internally bestowed also. So you have an external eye, you have an internal eye. Dajjal sees with one eye because you only have one eye. Okay, so people who follow Dajjal don't see things internally from an internal perspective. And some of the experts on the subject say the Prophet ﷺ looked at the low tree, Sidratul Muntaha, with his internal eye, and he took everything in, all the information. But it was actually a physical journey. It was, and it is possible. Science has proven that today. But the Quran explains it, beautifully.
The first verse that says that holy is he who carried his servant by night from the holy mosque.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, telling you that. And the Quran is the truth, and if anybody says it's not the truth, then they need to prove that because the facts, indicate otherwise.
Let's touch on some of the scientific proofs that this in fact did happen, Dr. Faiez.
Well, we have to go into the physics of light, the speed of light and so forth. It's a whole... I'm not an astrophysicist, okay. I've just read about this stuff. I can understand it, it's not rocket science, it's just astrophysical science. But I don't think we should go too much detail about on the science. I think what we should talk about mainly is what the Prophet learned and the signs that he saw, and when he came back, what he told us, and that we need to take heed of these things because it's actually what he said and what he prophesied, what he saw. He saw the future basically. He saw heaven and hell. He saw. He described, the people in heaven and hell, Jannah and Jahannam. He saw many things. Obviously, he saw Jibreel in his original form. In his original form, that's a majestic sight to behold. He saw obviously the Baytul Ma'mur, the Kaaba in the seventh Sama, where the angels tawaf around every day. Every day, 70,000 angels come and tawaf, and they don't come back again. Now, from the time of creation, 70,000 angels every day tawaf around the Baytul Ma'mur. Okay, now if you can go back in time from the first day of creation till today, imagine how many angels have made tawaf around. And Nabi Ibrahim was sitting, against the Baytul Ma'mur. Sorry, where was I before I got onto this point? I went over a tangent.
I was saying about the scientific proofs.
Oh, yes. Look, the science is solid, okay? There's quantum physics, explains it, theory of relativity, and so forth. But we need to, as I said, the most important thing is to know what the Prophet learnt and what he told us. So he prophesied many things which actually are happening today. But Nabi Isa told him about Gog and Magog, okay? Which is basically... the globalists. We spoke about the globalist agenda and the Illuminati, okay? Now, Gog and Magog are actually, I call them the Zio-Jesuit cabal, okay? It's literally Christians and Jews, working together to take over the world, basically. It's, but the false Christians and false Jews, because these people are atheists. They don't believe in God, basically. So I call them the Zio-Jesuit cabal. Zionists and Jesuits working together. And you can see they've already taken over most of the world. They control most of the world. They control your life and my life. And they're guarding the road to Jannah. They don't want anybody to get onto that detour, like I told you. And if you don't understand how to deal with them, I've been in a battle with them. And that's why I haven't been on the show the last 2 weeks. They're coming after me in a massive way. Their technology is unbelievable. If you understand the weapons they have, it sounds like Dr. Kirsten now really needs to go to Falkenberg. But I don't want to get into my situation. And if anybody's interested in learning about, what I've been experiencing from these forces the last while, they're welcome to contact me. But we need to understand that who's running the show at the moment and what we need to do in order to protect ourselves and keep moving along the detour if you want to get to a place, which is better than the edge of the cliff, Yeah.
Now, we have a WhatsApp message that says, today I can put an ant on my dashboard and go from Grassy Park to Table Mountain and back. the ant actually also went to Table Mountain. The same for a dog or a cat. I can put them on a plane and go to Joburg and come back in a few hours.
But what's the point? I don't understand.
That's what the message says.
But that is true.
Yeah.
But what's the... I don't understand
That's
the point.
it. That is what the
Interesting
message
though, yeah.
Also, one message. Who is Dajjal?
The expert on this subject is Sheikh Imran Hussain. Okay, now, Dajjal is a body without a soul. Okay, it's a creation of Allah. Everything is created by Allah. Everything. Those that create evil are created by Allah. Those that do good are created by Allah. So Dajjal is a creation of Allah. Okay, one has to understand, history of Bani Israel, the children of Israel, and how they've been disobedient throughout, their period of time that they've been on this earth, and they still are here. And, what Allah's punishment is going to be for them, what is planned for them. And so Gog and Magog and Dajjal ties in with that, okay? Dajjal is really a creature created by Allah, come in a human form, and to perform a certain duty. Okay. In fact, the guy that what's his name, Jack Parsons, he was an arch Satanist, lived in the early part of last century, and he was the guy that developed the rocket fuel that made it possible for rockets to get up into the stratosphere and deliver satellites to the stratosphere. Now they're using satellite technology, to control, obviously, to run things in a big way. In fact, some of their energy weapons are coming from satellites. Okay. And this guy Jack Parsons had a dream one day, and in his dream, he said he saw Dajjal, and he said to Dajjal, "You the guy that's actually helping me," and he called him old Dajjal or something like that. I mean, this is a fact. You can bear this out. The guy actually wrote a book. So Dajjal is influencing people to do certain things. In fact, sometimes I look at the kind of achievement that some of these scientists are achieving, I mean, the kind of stuff they're doing, to me, it's like mind-boggling. I say, how is it possible for these people to actually come up with these inventions and innovations? You look at companies, technology companies. I'm amazed at the kind of level of intelligence, or intellect, not intelligence, rather intellect, that these people display. And in fact, if you look at this guy, Jack Parsons' dream, where Dajjal actually came to me in the dream, and he actually said, "You the guy that's helping me." So Dajjal is actually helping these people who don't believe in Allah and who have bad intentions, you see.
We do have a caller holding. This is Radio 786 100.4 FM. We're talking about the link between Israa and Mi'raj. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Junabi. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just want to add to the discussion. Doctor, we as Muslims are in such a pickle. Pickle in the sense that we are neither there or there. Whether the Mi'raj happened, that's debatable. Whether it did not happen, that is debatable. Allah Ta'ala explains in the Quran, there are ultimate questions that cannot be answered. Only Allah will reveal them. So, let's leave that aside and concentrate on our social dilemma that we are in. We speak about the New World Order. What are we doing about it? We speak about the Dajjal. What do we do about it? But Dajjal is sometimes within you. And Allah is also within you. But if you do not explore those avenues, the Allah within you, then you will remain subservient. But I would suggest that I don't say I don't agree with you. What I would like you to do is, because we speak spirituality. When we speak of spirituality, what do we mean? We mean we are in another frame of mind. We communicate with our Rabb. We communicate through spiritual means, by praying and that. We don't see anything. So it's the concentration. The Quran is forever. It's for all times. The Quran warns us about these things that's happening now. But we don't concentrate on it. What are we going to do about this New World Order? What are we going to do about these people that's controlling the news, media and all that, and they are controlling us? That is the avenue that we've got to take, Doctor. Shukran for listening to me.
Shukran wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dr. Faiez.
Yeah, shukran for that. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah. Look, the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't exist in the creation. I mean, that the Mi'raj actually proved that, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went right up to beyond the seventh heaven, okay? And he had an audience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists outside of the creation, okay?
one of the comments that came through, remember the message I read about the ant going to Table Mountain and all of that?
Yes.
It says, back in the day, the ant could not go to Table Mountain in just a few hours. Today he can, so our Nabi's journey was definitely real.
Oh yes, a good analogy there, I must say, and I see it now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Look at it. Actually happened. If you look at the physics, as I say, look at the science, and you look at all the facts. It actually happened. So I have no problem. Not even believing it. I actually know that it did happen, and it gives me goosebumps because it was an amazing journey, an amazing experience, and how he describes the low tree. Sidratul Muntaha. This tree. It's unbelievable, and a lot of information he got from there, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually revealed the last 2 verses of Surah Baqarah also, to the Prophet on this journey when he had an audience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in fact I see the purpose really of the Isra Miraj was, first of all, there was a commandment, to make salah, okay, and we ended up having making salah 5 times a day, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I'll reward it with 50. Because the Prophet went back and forth on the advice of Nabi Musa, who, when he was coming down, he met Nabi Musa again, and Nabi Musa said, no, go back and tell your Lord, the people won't be able to make salah 50 times a day. And he went back and forth about 5 times or so, and then eventually Allah said, no, I'm going to leave it at 5, but I'll reward it with 50. Okay, so there was an instruction, a commandment, okay? And then also to make a direct revelation, which was the last 2 verses of Surah Baqarah. And then also to make a conditional promise. Allah said, those of your ummah who believe and worship me and do exactly what I say without committing shirk, okay, they are promised Jannah, okay? But he also said, those who commit shirk, in the Quran he tells us he will not forgive those who commit shirk. And they will end up in hell with the people of Gog and Magog. Now we must ask ourselves the question, coming back to the brother's call. He said, what are we doing about it? Now, we must ask ourselves the question, first of all, are we happy to be part of the people of Gog and Magog? Which obviously, to my mind, everybody seems to be happy to be part of the New World Order, the Gog and Magog New World Order. I mean, people have no problem being willingly participating in the satanic statutory system, following man's law above God's law. No problem at all, with the banking system, with anything, that Gog and Magog has given us and offered us, our education system, everything, we completely accept it 100% and never ever question it. That is not Islam. That is not being a Muslim. That is being part of the Gog and Magog New World Order.
Let's take the next caller, Dr. Faiez. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on air.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and Honorable Doctor and all your listeners.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's quite an interesting and a controversial topic, and it needs a lot of brains and it needs a lot of verses from the Holy Quran to prove one point to the other. Now, if we take the Israa and Mi'raj, the Prophet ﷺ actually stayed at Hani's house, and the gap between Isra and Mi'raj is approximately 5 to 7 years. No one knows the real amount of years. Now, this is actually a spiritual journey that the Prophet ﷺ took, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Prophet ﷺ assurance and comfort about the spread of Islam and the greatness of his task that is going to deliver to the world. Now, what we understand first, in Surah Al-Isra, Mi'raj it is actually not mentioned in there, but you'll find it in Surah Al-Najm. Now, these verses are all interlinked, and this is a very deep discussion. Now, if we take the example that the Prophet ﷺ led the prayers, where we actually led 124,000 prophets. Imagine the biggest stadium today doesn't even carry 124,000 people in a stadium. So now imagine if such a phenomena or miracle had to happen at that time. The people would have considered it to be a miracle, and they would have accepted the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But in spite of all that, they still denied him. So that means that it was not a physical journey. It was a vision concerning the future of Islam and the spread of Islam. And the Masjid al-Aqsa also that is mentioned there, it is not the same Masjid al-Aqsa that we think it is actually the Dome of the Rock that you see in the picture. It is not the Masjid al-Aqsa. If we interpret the word literally in Arabic, it means the distant mosque. That is actually Medina. Now, if the doctor is willing and Zainab will allow me, I would like to appear with the doctor on the radio on this issue, and we can discuss this issue at length, what it actually means and what does it refer to. And the gap between Israa and Mi'raj, it did not happen at the same night. There was a gap.
Okay.
So, inshallah, if Zainab is prepared, I'm prepared to come and we can discuss this issue in detail. Jazakumullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. We have one more caller. You're live on radio 786. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm just going to ask the doctor a question, two questions. A few years ago, I listened to almost a similar lecture on the radio, where the speaker was saying that the word Buraq means electric powered vehicle. Now, I heard what he said earlier, that Buraq means light. And then just going back, I saw there was a documentary on TV many moons ago about the construction of the pyramids. And this was a Frenchman who actually came out and said that all past programs on the pyramids was untrue, and he actually came with the actual reality. But the reason my point there is that on the pyramids, they pointed out the hieroglyphics. And the hieroglyphics that was on the pyramids referred to some objects that landed around that time that looks like spaceships. Now, I don't want to sound corny or anything like that. I just want to get a little bit of clarification on that. Shukran, Jazilan.
Shukran wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
On the pyramids?
Yes.
Well, that's a whole subject on its own, actually. I don't think we should actually go down that road.
Okay.
But coming back to the Masjid al-Aqsa, it's not the Masjid al-Aqsa that existed at the time, the brothers, right, that called in, that the Prophet ﷺ went to, because that masjid had been destroyed by the Romans, okay? And so it was really a dump, they trashed the whole masjid. So it was a masjid in a parallel universe, most likely, or masjid in that spot which other people couldn't see, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created at the time, So, but the seven samawat, I always get confused with the two words, they are parallel universes, okay? So our universe now, this universe of the dunya that we see around us, that we are existing in, that most experts say that this is the first heaven, the first sama, okay? And then you got the parallel universes above that.
Just a reminder that you are listening to Radio 786 100.4 FM on this Thursday morning. In studio, Dr. Faiez Kirsten joins me. We're talking about the link between Mi'raj and Israa, and we're having quite a few WhatsApp messages that came via 0786 10 11 12. I'm going to go through some of it because we also need to go for a short break. One of it reads, Assalamu alaikum. Why is it a confusion about the Mi'raj of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a dream or a physical journey, when Prophet Jesus alaihi salam, as a previous prophet before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, went on the same Mi'raj? Why? That's one of the questions. And then it's obvious, okay, now, who are the Antichrist as described in all the religious scriptures? I believe the answer is simple. Who were the people who mocked Nabi Isa and threw him with stones? Who were the people who tortured and crucified him? Where are they now? Who then will be the best to identify them closer to the end of time? A person who came from their minds and who they are now revering as God. They are the people who will create alliances to create chaos among the true believers on earth. Shukran so much for a lovely topic, as well as it is a bit hard to comprehend as a revert that some Muslims do not believe in the Isra and the Mi'raj. Allah is truth. The Prophet always ﷺ always told the truth. Islam is truth. May Allah put understanding in our hearts, inshallah. The Jews were always disobedient people, and they will always blame others. Truth will always prevail. May the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam become one. They are being kept busy fighting each other and fighting senseless wars amongst each other. May Allah allow us to see the truth. I'm going to take a short break, inshallah, and after the break we can tackle some of those issues, inshallah. 0786 10 11 12 or 021 699 1786. Stay tuned. 9 minutes to 10 on Radio 786. If you have just joined us, this is Radio 786 100.4 FM, also Community Pulse. I'm Zainab Bean in studio. My guest, Dr. Faiez, Kirsten. We're talking about the link between the Israa and the Mi'raj, and we're having quite a few WhatsApp messages still coming through. But I think, Dr. Faiez, for now, with the time we have left, we will have to just go through the ones that I did read before the break.
Can you remind me of one or two of them?
One of it spoke about the Antichrist as described in the religious scriptures, saying that, I believe it's simple, who were the people who mocked Nabi Isa and threw stones at him and all of that. And then also one of it saying that, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Faiez and Zainab. Shukran so much for the topic. Doc, you are amazing. May Allah protect you and also your knowledge, inshallah.
Shukran.
And may we follow suit to a certain extent. Bad sources and forces are there, but Allah's force and power is infinite.
There we go. That's beautifully said. Yeah, okay, I can't say it better.
And then also, oh yes, the doctor refers to shirk. What does he mean? I know that shirk means creating partners, but I find many people who are of a certain sect making a fuss of the sheikhs. I guess that they love them too much. Does this also mean that they are performing shirk?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is shirk. If you follow your priests or your rabbis, your imams above Allah's law, if they make halal what Allah made haram, or vice versa, and you follow them instead of Allah's laws, then that is shirk. That is absolutely shirk. Yeah.
Let's go to the lines. Radio 786. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam to you, Zainab, and
Wa alaikum salam.
Beautiful creations of Allah.
Wa alaikum salam. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dan Karim, I listen to this gentleman, and I'm hardly educated, but there is so beautiful things that he discussed with us as ordinary human beings. But I take my cue from this, Allah tells us in Quran in no uncertain terms, in this book there is no doubt. And first of all, if you put your trust in that very sense, and you use your imagination, your sense, then Allah opens vast things for you which are hardly been discussed. And these are some of these things that the gentleman discussing. Like the Miraj, it might sound strange even to some Muslim people, but to me it's easy. I'm just going to take my life, for instance. I'm a pensioner. And everybody's knowledge is right, definitely. And the younger generation, they've got to study to improve their lifestyle. But I don't think, in a sense, that is a criteria to be able to successful life. Not at all. If you try and follow what Allah tells us, wherever you may stay, Allah will make it so easy for you. In every sense of of life. And finally, I'm just I'm not being boastful. I'm a pensioner. And I'm so fortunate, shukr for Allah. I've been retrenched more than 25 years ago. And I still got that small amount of money that I received there. I draw the last of it in this agent time. I'm supposed to tell you diminished to a great extent. But it is life. Allah makes it easy for you. Allah, even if you just, there's such a beautiful period in our life as a Muslim in Ramadan. In fact, you take more time to read the Quran and study. And I don't think you'll find these kinds of issues and topics in university, whichever university. And Allah simply just open your mind to so many things. And in fact, you long, inshallah, to meet these kinds of things which have been promised and discussed to you. That's how I feel. And sometimes, if you look at the political issues and the situation, especially where Muslims found ourselves in, you feel sad in a way too that we have deviated to a great extent.
Okay.
That's why we find some instances that we've been so in a precarious position. May Allah help us.
Inshallah. Shukran so much for your contribution. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Dr. Faiez.
Yeah, look, in Surah Hamim, in verse 53, Allah says, we shall show them our signs on the horizons and within themselves until it will be manifest unto them that this Quran is the truth. That is the truth. So everything in the Quran is the truth, and if people have a problem with that, they need to interrogate their own subconscious and find out why don't they believe that,
Yeah. I also think that we must remember that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is impossible.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, the creator of the universes,
Yes.
So I always say, if you want to make the rules, then create a universe first, then we'll follow your rules, okay?
Yeah.
Because Allah can do anything. He's all powerful. Anything. He can take a human being up into the heavens. Why can't he do that? He created universes.
Yeah.
So why is it impossible for him to do something like that? It's probably just nothing for him,
Definitely. and I think that the last caller, he mentioned a very important verse, and that's the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah says that this is a book and in it is guidance sure without doubt.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, so we are Muslims and we are believers of the Quran. We follow the Quran. So it shouldn't be questions that we in fact raise. But inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding, inshallah, in order for us to do what we are supposed to do and to face things that we are being faced with today.
Yeah, one of the biggest signs, especially according to Sheikh Imran Hussein of the Miraj, was the return of Nabi Isa. Nabi Isa actually told Prophet ﷺ that he's coming back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered him to come back to the dunya to deal with these matters which we faced with right now, Gog and Magog, Dajjal, and so forth. And so ultimately we should, to end off, we should ask ourselves, are we happy to be part of this Gog and Magog New World Order system, which is taking us to the edge of the cliff and right over the edge? Or what are we going to do about it? I mean, I'm talking about every person, every organization, every leader who actually is concerned about the future. A golden future or a future of amber, which is the color of fire. I think it's amber. Or is it red? I don't know.
We have one.
I certainly don't want a red future, probably a golden future. Yeah.
Dr. Faiez, we have one final caller very, very quickly. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. It's Sulaiman again. Sorry to look at you again. I was listening to how do people don't believe in the Israa and the Miraj. If people can just think about what is being in the Quran, the creation that Allah has made, and if we listen to some of the lectures of Dr. Noor, who with the science and religion, I mean, it's absolutely amazing what Allah has created. If they must just listen to these programs, I'm sure they will see much more than what they see and believe what actually has happened. But our most beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has brought back to us. And looking at what human beings are capable of today, what they can invent and what they can make and they can fly and etc. Now, what can Allah do? That's what I leave my question.
Shukran so much for that contribution. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Absolutely. Dr. Faiez, we will have to end at this point.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Shukran so much for your time and a very interesting topic. And once again, we ask Allah to guide us and grant us understanding, inshallah.